If you've ever noticed that your life looks fine on the outside, maybe even good, but you still feel strangely empty inside, you're not imagining it. You go through your day. You get things done. You respond to messages, finish your work, maybe even laugh at the right moments. Nothing is technically wrong, and yet there's this quiet absence underneath it all. Like something is missing, but you can't quite name what it is. It doesn't look dramatic. It doesn't feel urgent, but it lingers, and most people don't talk about it because from the outside there's nothing to explain. What's interesting is how subtle this feeling shows up. It's in the way you scroll without really seeing anything, the way conversations feel slightly distant, even when you're present, the way achievements land and then fade almost immediately. You reach something you once wanted, and instead of feeling fulfilled, you just feel neutral, not sad, not happy, just flat. And that's usually the first layer people notice, the emotional numbness. But numbness isn't random. It's not your personality. It's not a lack of gratitude. It's usually a response. Because when your system spends enough time managing pressure, expectations, or internal tension, it starts to reduce what you feel, not because it's broken, but because it's trying to keep things stable. That's not weakness. That's protection. A lot of people who feel this way are actually very functional. They show up. They perform. They meet expectations. But internally, something else is happening. Their attention is constantly split between who they are and who they've learned to be. You might notice this in small behaviors, saying yes when you don't fully mean it, keeping your thoughts to yourself to avoid disrupting the moment, adjusting how you act depending on who you're around. None of these seem like a big deal on their own, but over time, they create distance, not from other people, from yourself. Because when your behavior is shaped more by external alignment than internal truth, your experiences start to feel less real. You're there, but not fully, and that disconnect builds quietly. You can have progress, stability, even success, and still feel like you're not actually inside your own life. And here's where it gets interesting. Most people assume this emptiness is about not having enough, not enough excitement, not enough purpose, not enough passion. But the real reason often isn't about what's missing. It's about what's been muted. Because when certain emotions feel unsafe, like disappointment, anger, or even uncertainty, the mind doesn't selectively turn those off. It lowers the volume on everything, including joy, including fulfillment. So what you're left with isn't intense sadness. It's a kind of emotional neutrality, a steady, controlled state where nothing feels too overwhelming, but nothing feels deeply meaningful either. And if you've been in that state long enough, it starts to feel normal. You stop questioning it. You tell yourself, this is just how life is. But it's not. It's a pattern. And patterns usually come from somewhere. For some, it starts with environments where being easy or low maintenance was valued, where expressing too much need, too much emotion, too much opinion created tension. So you learn to regulate yourself early, to stay composed, predictable, controlled, and that worked. It helped you function. It helped you adapt. But over time, that same control can turn inward. Instead of protecting you from external discomfort, it begins to filter your internal experience. You don't just manage how you show up. You manage what you feel, and when that becomes automatic, life can start to feel distant, even when everything is technically okay, even when you've built something stable. Because fulfillment doesn't come from things looking right. It comes from feeling connected to what's real. And when that connection is muted, the outside can look complete while the inside feels quietly empty. So the feeling you've been noticing and in that subtle absence, that lack of depth, It's not random. It's not a flaw in your character. It's a signal, not loud, not urgent, but consistent. And once you start to recognize it, you begin to see how often it shows up in the pauses, in the silence after something good happens, in the moments that should feel full but don't quite land. It was never about something being missing from your life. It was about something being missing from your experience of it. And once you see that, you can't really unsee it. It stops feeling like confusion and starts looking like a pattern. If this explains something you've been quietly feeling, there's more to uncover, because understanding yourself isn't about fixing anything. It's about finally seeing what's been there the whole time.